Hello, everyone. It is Friday, the 6th. Yes, the 6th of October, 2023. And I've been up since 4 a.m. So I'm literally up for like the last 3.5 hours already. And it's raining in Ottawa. And I did hear planes out. So it is what it is. And then contrails out, like again in Ottawa yesterday was just mind blowing how much. And I really think that people need to start taking a look at that, taking a look at the airports, taking a look at where people are flying into and out of, and what supplies these people are purchasing, and what's going on in these aircrafts, and how and how much, right, of different toxins, or potential toxins are being dispersed, right? Even if it's just for cloud seeding, like I'm saying, in geoengineering, which is a thing, and with like silver oxide, and anyways, like other things that are making it a lot less healthy. And I wanted to kick off saying that Wayne Eyre, like I shared another post about him yesterday. Of course, he was in Parliament when the Nazi was. He received two standing ovations. So he's the chief of defense staff, and for the last few years, I've been calling for his resignation, especially over COVID and the mandates. And I know people personally that were deeply impacted, serving over 20 years. A pregnant woman kicked out in her 20th year, 21st year rather, over not wanting to get the therapeutic, which more information is coming out where now it's 1 in 800 people had suffered from adverse side effects, and more so than any other time in history for any other rollout of any inoculation, and people need to start looking at that, right? I keep saying this, but this guy, and there's also an ATIP that has been put in, so authority, or sorry, access to information essentially for General Wayne Eyre, who to see what data he was looking at in order to impose what he imposed with vector and laser. Operation Vector and Laser were the operations that they put in place at the start of the pandemic in order to literally impose what they imposed, right? And and people saw the emails and stuff like that that I sent to the ombudsman, to Wayne Eyre, to again all levels of friggin' government, and they were unanswered. And why that is important is I am someone who, in my field, like I had a good reputation before talking about the Wuhan lab leak, for example, and about like essentially holding like out a little bit, and getting more information on the studies coming out on these therapeutics before, putting these like on the population. And then I was sharing information about that, like in fact that the original trials were debunked, and for so many different reasons that I've already shared in other videos. So just take a look. And yeah, so like this guy, like the fact that he like and of all people too, like again, like how did he not know this, right? Like what is his background? Like, so this is another person that is our chief of defense staff, so head of the military, that has no idea the history of Europe or Ukraine. And as someone who's been saying this for the last few years, this is not something that's now mainstream. Oh, now I know about this. Oh, now it's like I'm so educated on Europe and Ukraine because like in the last week or two, you guys are all fucking I swear. So whatever, it is what it is. It's bound to happen every once in a while, but yeah, he needs to be fired. Like, he is not good at his job. He's causing a lot more harm. He's caused adverse side effects and deaths, of his members, and for so many different reasons, and then putting us in a proxy war, and that we shouldn't be in, crippling our Canadian armed forces, pushing a woke agenda. Thousands of people already get released in the last couple of years. Like, we don't even have a sustainable army right now. And I can go on these tangents, but it's under Anita Anand and Melanie Jolie, like the Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau. These people that are so ignorant, and by the way, they're an embarrassment on an international level, and we are getting made fun of. No, actually, we are not getting made fun of. There, people are saying they feel bad for Canada and Canadians because when they talk to the people that they know, or looking at things outside of the mainstream media that Canada is pushing, then they're seeing that most Canadians are not in support of the things that are being pushed and being said, and yeah, these people are getting called idiots. Like, it's we are an international embarrassment. Even Putin's making fun of us. Like, oh my god. Ugh. Okay, so I was going to talk about more things. Yeah, so there's more turbo cancers is what people are calling it, where people are getting aggressive cancers that are growing at very accelerated rates, and this is something that is also new, and that people are paying more attention to just in the last year, 2 years, and there's obviously links to the therapeutic, and then I don't yeah, and I'm noticing that my videos are not getting taken down anymore because like there's just too much information out there now. There's just too many facts. I cite references, so do other people, and now they're finally having to at least just like stop deleting videos now that that are actually based in fact. Enough years have passed now, I guess, where they're just like, oh, now we can just like let people just like get their videos out more and stuff like that. Which is why I also think that like my Rumble account had like over 600 views or almost 600 views in one day, just like last week or the week before, and but then shut down again and low views again. So I'm just looking at my other social media to see if there's anything else I haven't mentioned in the other posts before I get into um, other topics. Oh man, I could get into controlled opposition. I talk about that a lot, and um, and how each individual or a group, like they have their own psyops or whatever you want to call it, that they're pushing towards different groups, right? And they're making people think that their group is not mainstream, or they're the ones that are telling the truth and stuff like that. But like I hate to break this to people, unfortunately, because I don't mean any harm or any like I don't mean to upset people when I share these videos. Like I'm doing this at risk to myself, especially in Canada more and more. And I wish people would appreciate that because I've actually been targeted, and I've shared proof of that. And yeah, and I you name it. I won't even get into that anymore. But um, Alex Jones controlled opposition. Like I've shared the proof. I've shared the videos. With Infowars and stuff like that. So whether he knows it or not, he has good contacts and he has really good information, but he also has information that is just way off. And so like again, he's someone that like also that is a globe earther and believes in aliens and stuff like that, and and extraterrestrial, like all of that stuff. And I believe that that there's a lot of BS that he's putting to when he talks about like seeing beyond like three-dimensional, and accessing the cosmos and all this stuff, like seeing information and seeing things that like no one else has ever seen and stuff like that. I'm calling bullshit on that because like just how he explains it and says it like makes like it doesn't line up to like the reality of this multi-dimensional simulation that's being projected on a flat plane of inertia. So yeah, he doesn't know shit. No offense. And Joe Rogan too, right? Like I hate to break it to people, but he's also someone that is controlled opposition. And people like Eddie Bravo have been saying for literally years to him, showing proof about flat Earth and so many other things like the fake moon landings, very clear. The Challenger, like blowing up, but like the people like not even being in it and being alive and well even now. 6 out of the 7 people that were anyway. uh, and I've shared these videos, and Hibbler Productions shares this as well. And if people are interested, I can share it on this video, but or I could just leave it. But I wanted to get into the Queen stuff again because I've given like a lot of like gematria, like date calculations and stuff like that regarding the Queen and 9/11 and stuff like that. But see, I'm going on all these tangents, the Queen, and then I get right into 9/11. But I'll show you why. So I'll just stop talking for a second and show you. Ave Maria, Virgin Mary, and the Queen. 9/11. So this is Vinny Temporis. Like this. So yeah, it's been a year. Like I've been following this account for a little while. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of good correlations, like that show like in plain sight messaging within like a lot of different movies, TV shows, like songs and stuff like that, and the messaging that has predicted um certain big events. The Virgin Mary, the Madonna. And I've already talked to you about like the significance of the Queen passing on, the Virgin Mary, like her alleged birth date being the 8th of September, and that being 8/9 or 9/8, however you want to talk about it, and the significance of like even Dawn 189, like that's my Rumble channel. It's at the end, and anyway, I can go on these tangents, but um, it's called Ave Maria, Virgin Mary, Madonna, and the Queen Connections 9/11, and I can link this video too. And yeah. And my hair's wet. My apologies. I took a shower and washed my hair, so I didn't. I like to let it air dry. And that even too with like the Freemason logo with the envelope and the Ave Maria. There's like so many different things with this symbol that I can talk about already. But they get into it. Oh, Oscar's Maria. Sorry. So if you're not getting this, that's Roman numerals for 9, and this is no Roman numerals for 11. The X itself is Roman numerals for 10. So when you have the numbers on the left-hand side, then that is counting down, and then when it's on the right-hand side, it's counting up. Same thing with the V, meaning the 5. And if it's a 1 and a V, then it's a 4. But if it's a V and a 1, then it's a 6. Or an I. And even with the look at her earrings with the 5-pointed star. So corona, just like coronavirus. They're not making the connection in this. They're just showing that as the sun, the representation of the sun. And I don't know if people know this. Again, this is redundant from previous videos, but also on YouTube before, like my accounts kept getting deleted. The connection. Oh, I was gonna say, and then I just completely freaking forgot it. I'll get back to it. Oh yeah, there's an aurora borealis, but there's also a corona borealis. So the lion represents the sun, and if you look at astrology, like the sun rules Leo, and that's when the sun is like at its highest point, like when it goes from Gemini to Cancer, and like on the like 20th of June, the summer solstice. And Mary and Madonna represents the moon, and then in Cancer, that sign is represented by the moon, or that's what the moon rules Cancer. I was being inconvenient. I've been had. I was sad and blue, but you made me feel. Yeah, you made me feel shiny and new. You're the virgin. Touched for the very first time. Like a virgin. When your heart beats, you love me. We are in eclipse season. Can't you hear my heartbeat? For the very first time. You think that I can
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Talk to me. Tell me your dreams. And I know we can fly. Towards the man whose pleasures depend on permission. In the sky at night I wonder. My tears of morning sink beneath the sun. Skies above universe gone crazy. For the call of thunder threatens everyone. And I feel like I just got home and I feel. And I feel like I just got home and I feel.
COVID-19 doesn't care about how rich
I want to
you
get to the
are.
queen, the real queen. She does a lot of sun worship stuff and moon worship, and so just. So fleur-de-lis is also on Quebec flags. It's on a provincial flag. So they were saying that when the pandemic was declared, the Queen's death was 911 days, and I've shared too with like 666 between key events and being declared and deaths or other events being declared and stuff like that, and other ones. But of course, I tell people to verify things, so I'm just gonna stop sharing this for a second, and then go into share screen. And so you can go to calculate durations between dates. And so so I plugged it in. So like I said, that it was the 11th of March. Although I would argue it was a little bit later in some other countries. Like I think that in Canada, it was like the 21st of March or the 20th of March, because I was on my way to Australia, literally, and in San Francisco, by the way, which also proves like flat Earth. Why would you go that way? Anyway, I turned back because like a lot of people from work were like calling me back saying like this might be a thing. Anyway, so up until her death, which was like last year, and it's 911 days, and so you can calculate it yourself. I always say don't take anyone's word for anything, like stop videos, and if you have any questions, and do your own research. So I gotta share this again, so I just want to show you that. Oh yeah, so there's also, actually I'll do some more. Can you still see this? No, I think I just booted you out. But I'm gonna go back on that. And because this actually has like really other good videos as well. So I'll go into my history because there's so many. There's so many. Okay.
I have this sped up 1.5.
It's been said since Superman's creation that Superman is a type of Christ figure. For example, his heavenly Kryptonian father sends his only son to Earth to save mankind. And Superman is 33 years old when he finally reveals his great powers to the world, the same age as Jesus when he went to the cross.
I've shared the video about Christ oil that Santos Bonacci made. I'm going to talk about Santos Bonacci too because I think his video that he posted just like a couple of like less than 10 hours ago. Uh, it's intense. It's yeah, and it's intense, and I wanted to talk about it because like he is a brilliant mind. And no, I'll move on. But he talks about 33 vertebrae and Christ oil and being able to access it through the way we live essentially. Is I just wanted to finish at that. I've shared videos on it before, and if I have time, I might share that Christ oil video um, on this video too.
Get us a pizza.
Pizza. Now?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm going. Lois?
Hmm?
You know about pizza? It's okay. I'll pick it all.
11.
times, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love. That's the power of love. Can you feel it?
I've seen this plenty of times before, so this is because I think because I wasn't able to share it currently.
Hey, boy, get in there. Boy. Please note, your
Different
eyesight clock
videos.
is a precise synchronization with my control watch. Got it?
Right, check. Good.
I can't believe this window's still broken.
Well, when the scene screen repairman called Daddy a chicken, Daddy threw him out of the house. Now we can't get anybody to fix it.
Look how worn out this is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm.
Get your head down, get your head down.
It'll all be over in about 30 seconds. Go. Clear. Okay, go. I can't even believe it. Sit back and enjoy your ride.
Miles, I want you to know being Spider-Man is not an easy road. The mask we wear is not just a symbol, it's a reminder to protect the people we care about.
Plumbers!
No, he is. I'm just apprenticing.
Get in the car!
But I didn't do
Get in the
nothing.
car! You telling us that you can arrest a guy for being a plumber? Get out of here! Get in there, plumber! No! Hey, what is
All
this?
right, what do we do?
I'm getting arrested for being a plumber! Hey, don't have a phone call!
Name, Mario. Last name.
Mario.
Okay, what's your name?
Luigi.
Luigi.
No, Luigi Mario.
Name, Mario. Last name.
Mario.
Okay, what's your name?
Luigi.
Luigi.
No, No, Luigi Mario.
How many Marios are there between the two of you?
There's three. There's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Mike! Mike! How many Marios around the side?
Oh my God. Daisy's in there somewhere. I know it. Where do we start? It's you. We're merging!
Yep. Yeah. In plain sight, like the hidden symbology is literally everywhere. Even in the names and the birth dates. Like C being like the third letter of the alphabet in the English alphabet. I mean,
I had one.
so no one's saying that there weren't planes that hit the towers. Could have been military aircraft as well, and also CGI. And so there's a lot of data out there to like intentionally mislead people about this, which is frustrating. And there's absolutely controlled detonations throughout, and Building 7 as well. And people died. People also were crisis actors, unfortunately, not even realizing it that they were in, like what was going on. Just like a lot of people too, for the January 6th riots, right? Like people were even saying like these are actors, this is not real, blah blah blah. People were confused as to what was going on in the midst of everything. So yeah, look, so the World Trade Center is starting to be built in 1968, and then when it when they were taken down, it was 33 years in between.
Directed the firefighter that was assisting me to take a look into the pit in the middle of the cross. And it brought such overwhelming feelings to me that it dropped me to my knees in tears.
On September 23rd, when I found out about the cross which Frank Silencio founded, I made an immediate phone call to First Deputy Mayor Joseph Loda that we needed to preserve the cross and keep it ground zero.
It looks cut. But anyway.
I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. I am the
Yeah, there's your fucking, oh, I swear again. Damn it, twice in a row. I have said this for years. Controlled opposition, guys. And that's why, like, I should have impeached.
It's all a fucking circus.
First, there's two Trumps.
Okay.
The one in the red tie is the real one. The one in the blue tie is not. The one you saw last night.
I don't know about that. This guy's saying that. I don't know if that's true or not, because I have not met red tie and blue tie Trump in person to do genetic testing, all that other stuff in order to confirm.
The victory was the blue tie.
I will also reiterate, there's a lot of stuff that people have out there about magic and like not being magic, about being like demonic possessions or demons helping like magicians and whatever, and then reptile friggin' beings and stuff like that. And then even showing with like eyes and stuff like that. But this is all stuff that could be CGI, that could be edited, or there could be costumes and or again like multiple people involved in the trick, the magic trick, right? That in order to deceive people. And so yeah, that's what I think about that. You need proof. So I'm not one of those freaking crazy conspiracy theorists that like thinks any of that stuff, right? So like I know that just because I do believe in flat simulation Earth, people like put me in that friggin' bubble, and I hate it. You know, anyway, but it is what it is. Because again, I share information from scientists, from like literal experts in like the fields of like engineering, you know, and just so much irrefutable data and facts in order to substantiate what I say, and I cite my references and all, and like almost all my videos, not all, but a lot of them. But I also give names of people that you can like look at yourself, and not again like people get things wrong. Even with Santos Bonacci, I'll get into it, and which is why I think that like I may be the one that has like the most accurate, I guess, assessment of the reality of the world. Like I know that sounds pretty friggin' bold and stuff like that, but even with him, with like being a vegan and talking about like cannibals, like when people that eat protein are gross, disgusting people, but it's actually like we are meant, unfortunately, to eat protein, and the better quality protein that we get, like the more organic in nature, healthy protein that we get, and not in excess, right? Like this makes us bigger and stronger. And then throughout history too, like when you look at like various diets, like of certain groups where like their height, you know, like the average height of men and women are taller. It's people where they're like throughout like the lineage, there's been meat eaters but good quality protein. And then you look at the countries where the average height is like 5'5" and below. Like these are predominantly populations where they eat more plant-based diets, so like India and China and places like this, and there are more sicknesses, and he claims that he's vegan for 12 years. I'm not saying that he's a liar. I'm definitely not saying that. But what I'm saying is that like, and that he said that he's never had health issues, but he's absolutely had health issues, and he's even publicly talked about it, where like he was struggling with his health and being weak and stuff like that, and others as well. And so this is what I'm saying, like you do need to have a good diet, and like he's so open-minded, and even Jordan Maxwell said that Santos Bonacci was like the best truth seeker there is in the world, and so he was even saying that like even with like the Earth stuff, like and so yeah, and so even for people that believe that Jordan Maxwell is a great mind, and he was. Santos Bonacci is absolutely, but again, there's still things that like that where there's marks being missed, and he also doesn't bring up about like oil. Actually, I don't know if he does or not, but like about oil not being a fossil fuel. I've just never seen any of that stuff, and I've looked at a lot of his videos, and he has a lot of great content out there. But again, he might have went off over the friggin' deep end last night, and so I'll get into Trump because I keep on going on these friggin' tangents, but like I just can't believe the stuff that he said. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Trying to scrape up a down payment for a little fixer-upper in your neighborhood? Take a look at my next guest. There's a report around Wall Street that this is what he has in mind. This is Donald Trump, 33 years old. And some people think that he wants to buy the World Trade Center, the 110-story Manhattan skyscraper that anyone can pick up if they've got the coins. This is Donald Trump, 33 years old. And some people think that he wants to buy the World Trade Center.
Trump has said quite seriously that he's a good enough bargainer to negotiate a nuclear disarmament treaty with the Russians.
One day we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy #1, and U.S. jet fighters lay waste to his camp in Afghanistan. I really am convinced we're in danger of the sort of terrorist attacks that will make the bombing of the 1993 Trade Center look like kids playing with firecrackers.
Donald Trump is on the line, and we know him as the man behind lots of real estate in Manhattan. And of course, Donald, I understand you were actually a witness to what happened this morning.
Well, I have a window that looks directly at the World Trade Center, and I saw this huge explosion. I was with a group of people, and I really couldn't even believe it.
Mr. Trump, what should be the response to this attack? How should the U.S. respond to such a devastating?
Well, I think they have to respond quickly and effectively. They have to find out exactly what the cause was, who did it, and they have to go after these people because there is no other choice. And then secondarily, and much less importantly, we have to rebuild in some form that will be just as majestic as the World Trade Center.
If we rebuild the World Trade Center in the form of a skeleton, Freedom Tower, the terrorists win. We want to rebuild the World Trade Center as the World Trade Center, but better. A little bit taller, a lot stronger, just plain better.
Excuse me. So more stuff on Donald Trump too. So 3.5 years ago is essentially when the pandemic was declared, as mentioned. And there's even like Trump, he does make and you'll see it in this video too, but like he makes like so many correlations and associations with him being Jesus and their sun worship, looking at the sun, kissing the sun, and all this other stuff. And then he even eclipse times. And I don't recommend looking at the friggin' sun. When I say sun gazing and stuff like that, to be clear, when I'm talking about like healing rays and stuff like that, when there's eclipses, like when it goes through, when they pass over each other, whatever you want to call it, it does make more like a significantly brighter light during certain periods of that. So do not look then, right? Because people actually do get their friggin' eyes burnt and permanent eye damage and stuff like that. And so like, don't mess around with that stuff. Don't think just because it's like more extreme light, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, that you'll get like more healing and more energy. No, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?
I am officially running for President of the United States.
First, there's 2 Trumps. Okay. The one in the red tie is the real one.
Again, who knows? Like, how does this guy know?
The one
and he does say a lot of crazy things just to get views. Some of it's really funny, but so.
The blue tie is not.
Crazy.
The one you saw last night after the victory was the blue tie.
It is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
I hate some of these people, but I'd never kill them.
How the did this happen?
The American dream is dead.
So yeah, even giving him like advertisement, it just it is what it is. But he is literally like so in the game, and yeah, we just hear about him so much. It's just like it's just so much. And it's because he has a lot of money, he has a lot of power, a lot of influence, and people just eat it up. They eat it up. And this is why I also don't think that he should be friggin'. He even announced Space Force on like a 9/11 significant date, and I forget what year it was. Like a 2018, 19. I don't know. I forget. Don't even quote me on that. But like it was the date that he announced Space Force. Again, like space, as we are being led to believe by NASA and these like ISS and RASA and stuff like that. Like this is all fake shit, right? They're not giving us the real data. It's because they're making a lot of. Again, I'm not them, but they're getting a lot of money out of this. They're getting a lot of like influence, a lot of power, a lot of prestige, like a lot of like benefits in the world and stuff like that. And but you can't take it with you. And yeah, there's lessons that people are not learning. The Exorcist too has a lot of there's so many movies too from like the past that that had the 9/11 symbology in it. Can you see this? Yes, okay.
Paulie, how's it look? Snitch says the cop's body's about 300 yards down in the panic tunnel.
Oh, and actually what he doesn't catch is, I'll just play it again, but you'll see in the background too, like a light moving over towers. See, when I watch movies or when I like listen to things, the guy like I get such sensory overload sometimes just because I'm looking at the data, like I'm using all my senses more than most people do, and that I talk to, right? And like that's why I think too that like when people are mouth breathers instead of nose breathers, like they lose like the ability to like even smell properly, and when you're not breathing in and out of your nose, you know what I mean? You're not getting like you're not smelling your environment, and like that's like another way of getting to know your surroundings, and anyway, I'm going on all these tangents, but
Okay.
Yeah.
it is my job to be an analyst.
I just got sleep.
To assess, like even when I was an infantry officer, again, 15 years, and again, it's not been that long since I retired, and then I incorporated, and top secret government clearance, work with the highest levels of freaking government, and because I share information that is not mainstream, it just sort of like in the last little bit, it's just like slowed down my outside of the house work contracts, which I prefer. Working with, again, like teaching people about hostile environment awareness training stuff, and standing rapid deployment team courses that where people are responding to natural and man-made and disasters, like not only at home but internationally as well. And yeah, like so call me.
Huh. 9286, check.
The company. Cops.
Tell them I'm busy.
Oh, they said it was urgent.
Tell them I'm out running.
She's too polite for that, Link.
Hey, look who's here.
I caught a
Okay, this is boring. Anyway, take a look at that channel. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of symbology that they take a look at it, and it's like the you likely have seen a lot of the stuff that they share, like a lot of the movies. Oh my God, my hair is crazy. Oh, my freaking bangs never dry like with my freaking hair properly, and just like a little. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Santos Bonacci. Okay, so like I was debating on sharing this video. Oh yes, I was gonna say, like even with Jesus, like he died and he was raised again after 3.5 days. That's where I was going with the whole Donald Trump. It's been 3.5 years since like the pandemic or whatever you want to call it, and he's getting persecuted now. So like, what if there's this persecution or whatever you want to call it, this death or whatever of the son to rise again, right? So like maybe this is again like another freaking dramatic, whatever you want to call it, like what we're seeing with the court trials and stuff like that. Maybe this is all like deliberate, again, like planned and staged by him, because even bad news or bad media is good media. Like it's watched. And so like maybe this is again just like more getting people again like to talk about this guy, and it's just like, oh my god. Oh. And anyway, so I was debating on whether I was going to share this information, this video, I mean, with Santos Bonacci, because I've actually talked to him before. Like I did a reading with him a year ago, I think, and more specifically just because I wanted to like talk to him and stuff like that, and because I love his work. Like again, he's like one of the greats, and yeah, like I just I don't support what he said, and so I'll just start with that. But again, I do think that I'll share it. It's going to be taken down, so like that might make my my videos get taken down too. But anyway,
at my hands and my.
So let's see how many hours now. Okay, 8 hours ago posted.
I've been busy today on Facebook. I've done about 10 lives. I urge all of you subscribers to my channel to go to my Facebook page, make copies of all of my lives, because I've just exposed everyone. I've checkmated all the people traffickers, the Pope, Oprah Winfrey, King Charles, George Soros, Bill Gates. Please go to my Facebook page before they shut it down. Copy those lives, please. Listen to me. Your life depends on it. Please, all you good syncretists, please record, go to my Facebook page, record all of those lives, because they will shut me down and they will come for me. Just like they murdered Zelenko and Bashar. But I don't give a fuck, because I'm billions of times more powerful than any of these degenerate Draco reptilian fucking grey Khazarian murderous fucking cunts.
So like I'm not supporting what he's saying. I'm sharing this. It's I've already listened to like half of this, and it's shocking throughout. And he's someone that brings so much light into like a very dark world. So like I'm not sharing this to slam him or anything like that. I think he's just going through like a big crisis right now, because like a lot of what he says too, like there's a lot of trauma there. At least maybe not for him, but there would be trauma there for most people, right? Like because he talks about people within his family that got what he believes to be murdered, and or like attacked and or subjugated to abuse by law enforcement and stuff like that in certain areas because of being associated with him. And so he's just, I think, possibly like under duress when he's saying this. You know,
How to Have Freedom, made simple by Santos Bonacci. Lynch the Pope as soon as possible.
Don't do that.
Lynch and behead King Charles.
Don't do that.
The second. Remember what Oliver Cromwell did to King Charles I? Oliver Cromwell was a murderous Khazarian cunt. Just like all these elite families that I've exposed, the Orsini, the Colonna, the Guelph, the Saxe-Coburg-Gothers.
He's exposed a lot of groups that have inherited wealth and power and stuff like that, and prestige and stuff like that, that are liars and deceivers, and actually are people that are involved in pedophilia rings, human trafficking, all of that stuff. Like I know how crazy and extreme that sounds, but that's actually unfortunately true. And but that's again like also like I don't think that they're reptile people or anything like that. Like that's another thing like that. Like he says these things, and so like I don't know what proof he's gotten for that. Like I've looked at the references and stuff like that that he's provided for like where he's got a lot of his work from, and I bought like these books too, and or like got the archives online, and I don't see it anywhere.
The Visconti, the Este, Pallavicini, Torlonia, Savoia, the House of Bourbon, the Castros, all people trafficking conquistador motherfuckers that need to die. This is probably going to shut my YouTube channel down, but that's good, because that will seal the fate of all the motherfucking cunts who have messed with me on YouTube. I'm putting you on notice, fucking Silicon Valley and YouTube motherfucking cunts. You're going to fucking...
See, this is why like I'm sharing this video. Like it's Mr. Astrotheology on YouTube. I really urge people to start doing a friggin' binge watch of his stuff online like this weekend, because like I don't know if his channel is going to be up anymore after, because it gets crazier.
Get slaughtered. The people are opening their eyes, and you are going to get fucking murdered. And I encourage everyone, all you Americans with your guns, hit the streets, man.
Don't do that.
Hit the council meetings and fucking shoot these cunts right between the eyes. If you know that they're fucking pedophiles, and they are, like Pedo Joe, and I hope Trump puts that fucking cunt in jail.
there are legal systems. I'm not saying that they're perfect or work or anything like that right now. There's definitely a lot of things that need to be overhauled and adjusted, and more honorable people in positions that are not covering up and for their friends and family and or exploiting the system, and rules for thee and not for me type stuff. But like that's not up to you. Like that's not your place to do, right? And
The Khazarian fucking demon fucking cunt.
make it
I
worse.
swear to God, Biden and your fucking degenerate pig son and all the fucking looting of America that you're doing and selling out to the Chinese, you're going to fucking hang, motherfucking
Oh
cunt.
my God.
Because Santos Bonacci says so. I'm going to make my name famous so that no one in history will forget my name. Just like Fibonacci.
So this is another thing with this video. Like, I don't know if he's being this extreme, knowing that he could, like, you could go to jail for saying this stuff, like, very clearly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's like being this extreme because like he wants to like fall on his own sword and be like this extreme, because this is as extreme as you can get. Like, I'm having visceral reactions to this, like even hearing this, but because he wants it to be more well known. So like I'm trying to get it out there just to, I guess, help. I don't know, because like his information that he shares, not this at all, but like the information that he shares about astrotheology is by far like it's like the best content you are going to find, ladies and gentlemen, other than my stuff too. But yeah, like just brilliant.
Bonacci, my ancestor 800 years ago. And just like Pythagoras and Socrates, whom you poisoned, trust me, everyone in the world will know Santos Bonacci and his message and his condemnation of the people trafficking motherfucking cunts like Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hanks, Spielberg, Meryl Streep, and all these fucking demon fucking cunts in Hollywood, and all these policemen who are the dogs protecting the fucking murderous COVID hocus pocus scam-demic. We all know, YouTube. Pull this video down and give me a strike, motherfuckers. Go ahead and do it. Because I will come after you in the afterlife and I will fucking slaughter every one of you. From the CEO of fucking YouTube to fucking Zuckerberg. You cunts fucking touch me and you seal your fate forever. I'm warning you. You are going to fucking perish at my hands and my instigation. I'm starting a revolution called Let's Do It. And like Immortal Technique sang in his song, The Philosophy of Poverty, which is the song that we will march under, we're going to come after you, including the Pope, George Soros and fucking Schwab and all you ugly fucking demon motherfucking lizards. And we're going to fucking murder your asses after due process.
Like this lizard stuff again. Like I don't know if it's because like there's different groups that have like different blood types, and I've said this before so many times, but like for years before I got into anything else, like I was talking about blood types and lineages and stuff like that, and how there's a difference between negative and positive blood types on how we respond to different illnesses or diseases and stuff like that, and like how even with the negative blood types you don't build up antibodies. So like why would you get inoculated if it's not even going to help and or do anything, and it can lead to adverse side effects and zero benefits. No one took a look at that stuff. Like I shared that information with my doctor too, and it was just like over his head because he's a general practitioner, and yeah, and it's all about like the military industrial pharmaceutical complex and about pushing medications and not so much about actually treating people and understanding our bodies. And there's a lot of people that are part of like the people that have the inherited wealth right now, and the most prominent positions are people that are of a certain blood type, and it just so happens to be the negative blood types for certain people. Like even with like the presidents, like even Barack Obama being related to like most of the friggin' or all of the presidents, they say, like except for Trump, but I doubt that. Yeah, because it is what it is. But like negative blood types, rare, and throughout the world, and so there's even like different, even with MK Ultra and other groups, even within Canada, they were looking at psychic abilities and people that were more intuitive and stuff like that, and trying to like make the correlations with negative blood types, and people are being led to believe that like people with negative blood types essentially have again like that they're more intuitive, they have like more psychic abilities, like they're whatever, they have like more benefits, and I am a positive blood type, and I also do believe that like I am like I don't know, like I don't see what benefits or advantages like my negative blood type friends have over me, like to be honest with you. But I also do have in my family like negative blood in my family lineage on both sides. So like that's in my DNA. So like
So I guess I should have started with that because even my grandfather, he was O negative. He was a universal donor, and he gave blood a lot. And so that's like really close. That's my grandfather. Like there's the negative blood type. Anyway, where was I going with this stuff? Oh yeah, so back to Santos Bonacci saying stop.
Process.
That
Thank you,
shouldn't be said on
YouTube, for this
TV,
platform.
or at all.
That I can use this platform to condemn you to fucking eternal damnation. And every motherfucking congressman in the US and pedophile politician like Paul Keating and John Howard. Hello, Australians. If you didn't know that they were fucking pedophiles and murderers and adrenochrome sex orgy murderous fucking cunts, then you are a fucking dumb cunt. All your politicians since since Bolte was murdered by these pedophiles, Gough Whitlam, Fraser, they were all pedophiles and pedivores and adrenochrome junkies. Wake up, Australia. You're the most locked down country. COVID is a scam. The doctors, the police,
Canada too was.
policemen, they're all conspired with Pfizer and Moderna to murder your asses. My father was murdered. That will go down in history by some fucking whore in a nursing home in Myrtleford. Hello, people in Myrtleford. Know this, that the Savoy Club, the police station, and the nursing home that murdered my father with the jab because he had blood clots and a heart attack overnight, I'm coming for you and I'm going to fucking slaughter every fucking one of you. All you good policemen, you got guns and tasers. Just fucking go right up to fucking Joe Biden and fucking kill the fucking...
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Puta. Que te maten pronto. Eres un hijo de puta. Argentina, despiértate. Just go out, Australians, and fucking kill these politician pedophile cunts. John Howard, Paul Keating. They're all pedophiles. And they're all pedivores and adrenochrome junkies, murderers, people traffickers. Find out the name of the person who injected my father with the snake poison and kill that fucking cunt whore.
Don't
you
do that.
fucking slut. You fucking degenerate fucking cunt. How dare you kill my father?
I think he's under duress.
And killing people on the ventilators. You know you're fucking killing them with morphine, you fucking, and remdesivir, you fucking degenerate followers of Tony Fauci. Fauci means fangs. And Fauci's behind AIDS with Robert Gallo, the fucking criminal cunts. Can't wait till you fucking are a faggot fucking cunt.
Jeez.
You see Francesco Bergoglio, the fucking murderer of millions of people in Argentina in the 70s. I can't wait to see his fucking head removed. Jorge Bergoglio.
See, it just
dollars to the Khazarian Ukrainians. Putin is going to fucking murder you fucking Khazarians. The Russians, the Romanovs has done it before, but you came back. But this is the last chance. You're gone. Your story's over. Your timeline is finished, motherfuckers. My timeline of truth and paradise on earth and exposing you fucking cunts wins. We win. The Jedis win. Never forget my name, Santos Bonacci, motherfuckers. Especially you judges who put me in jail and all you fucking wardens in the jail who fucking touched me and made my life miserable. I swear to God, you will perish in hell. And wake up, Myrtleford. They're killing your parents, jabbing them in the nursing homes. And that fucking cunt slut who jabbed my father.
So I think, like I keep saying that, under duress. If you look at in April of 2021, even in Ottawa and in Montreal and in other areas as well, but there was an alarming amount of excess deaths within the old age homes and residential, like homes where there was like care for people that were geriatric or older age or disabilities, and even like the morgues, like people within morgues talking about it, and funeral homes and and there were people that were, there was these COVID teams that were going to these places, and there was actually nurses that were injecting people with like these morphine, remdesivir, other cocktails that I've talked about before, that where there's a high mortality rate and stuff like that. And if you look at like even the the trials that were coming out of Africa with remdesivir and stuff like that, this is why this is not something that was pushed like in Canada, I think, during the pandemic, because of how awful it was. How many people it was killing and stuff like that. And so
I'll gouge your eyes out, you fucker
see
in Myrtleford in the nursing home. They're all crying for justice, and I swear to God, I will make sure that you all get what you deserve. I'm gonna fucking murder and snuff you fucking right out. Hillary Clinton, producer of snuff films, and Beyonce, you fucking demon fucking cunt, you fucking whore. Murderers of Whitney Houston and Tupac and Michael Jackson and Prince and Elvis Presley. Yeah, you've already been outed. You know, we know that there. The famous Hollywood actor, I forget his name, who said that there is a fine dust because he deserves it. You Argentinians, don't cry.
Okay, so this is his channel. It's a shame. I wasn't even thinking I was going to do a video today, but after like seeing that, excuse me, my stomach's getting upset. I thought I needed to, because he has so much information that I hope doesn't get lost. Because like now, when I hope that people just don't like correlate him with being like this person that he's being. Anyway, there's just so much information that he has on astrotheology. And other information, like let's see what this is.
But we also will be providing you with an inclusive and a diverse staff. We are never going to stop fondling your imagination and reaching you in your unreachable parts. And we will do it bigger, faster, and harder than ever before. Thanks to the money we steal daily, we're committed to going to the stars in just 8 more years. Remember to buy Bitcoin. Did I mention that aero-arousal technology to probe space is right around the corner? And you should sign up soon. No, not for my secret society, the Book of the Snake. That's a Yale secret, and you're just a crappy citizen, and we here at NASA owe you nothing. Did we mention we could use some more money for our budget? But you too can be a part of the NASA team. Just be African American or female or trans. In fact, you can even identify as gravity, and you're in. Easy peasy. Eat your sugar pops, drink your fluoridated water, and study physics at any university. We know you can't get enough of our Fartimus. Fartimus has never been so engulfing as it is here at NASA. If you're wondering how old I am, the answer is 197. I am so old I fart dust. Or as we say here at the Cape, I Fartimus dust. If you're also wondering who told me to lie to you and the world, it was my father, Satan. Now, the main question on everyone's mind is who should be sent to your anus first? Which African-American should be the white man to inflict harm that we like children and chocolate ice cream?
Oh my
You'll also
God.
learn, and you people aren't happy that we brought you Tang and Velcro, even.
Okay. Let's look at some other ones. There is some sarcasm in here as well. Oh, this might be about Micah Dank, this video here. The last 6,000 years of holy books. He's really good too. He's pretty solid. I've shared his stuff too.
I remember reading when I was a little boy. You know? The world has become tyrannical, deceptive, dystopian, fraudulent.
Raining against
Factual.
perception is good. I'm going to leave this play out a bit.
Truthful, direct knowledge has been taken away from the masses for the purposes of control. But enough is enough, dear friends. Now is the time to take what is rightfully ours. Welcome to the Syncretism Society Virtual Academy.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, he actually has a syncretism academy in Mexico, and I believe maybe in another area too. But like, oh, I don't want him to lose.
Welcome to the Syncretism Society
Virtual
Academy. Within the Academy, we have great minds to collectively bring our alumni a staggering range of knowledge.
Based off decade after decade of quantifiable research.
And this week we're looking at the word pole after the 3 weeks, previous weeks, bowl, soul, and whole. And we find that they all have the same source. So all the words come from the word of God. This is the word of God. And we'll get to that one as well, W-O-R, which derives from this as well. So, and we've titled this.
He's showing also like the hyperboloids and toroidal fields, like with the geocentric model, with the diagram and stuff like that in here. Like even in this diagram, I love it.
The North Pole, the throne of God. So when you look at the word north, There's the word north. All right, mixed up. I mean, this is silent anyway, so throne, from, north. And the key word is pol. Politics, pollution. This is a pollution. This redshift, blue shift is not pure. Pure is P-U-L. Okay, interchangeables R and L. So this is pure as well. And this is what's called pollux. It comes from the word pollution. This pollution of matter. Pollux is this one, and castor is redshift. Torus field, you see? Cast down. He was cast down, and his pure brother, who was not polluted, Pollux, would save him. Oh, I did forget to mention, I jumped in. Guys, if you want to just join in the Zoom call and mute, keep mute, and you can start participating, not with questions necessarily. Yep. Raise your, put the raised hand if you want to insert something of value. But try not to till we finish the presentation. But you're welcome to. I mean, this is interactive. So we see that's where the polarity comes from the pole. Pollux creates polarity. That's why it's polluted. It's not unity. He was lopped off from heaven and fell down into this pool, doing loops in the pool. Some people call it a field, but it's a pool as well of water. It's a field of, the etheric field is, they're all field modalities, but they're also called pools, you see? And that's all we're doing, we're just doing loops.
Or rings, Lord of the Rings.
A bit like the Wish You Were Here Pink Floyd song. With the fish in a fish bowl, year after year. Running over the same old ground. Yeah. What was the next line?
Same old fear.
Same old fear. There you go. And fear comes from this word, from this F-E-A-R. Remember, it's fal. And we're going to do this in 2 weeks' time. Next week we've got we're going to do vol, but next week we're going to have fol. Next week, 2 weeks' time we'll have fol, which is folly. This is all folly, and we get fear. Okay. So without jumping the gun, get you excited for the next couple of weeks. See, these are two pals, or two pals this way, redshift, blue shift, or these two twins. Pals running, making laps, lapping, looping. You see? The two pals, which give you a pair. That's why you have two parents, don't you? You don't have one parent. We'll call her by her genitals. Polarity, parity, bipolar. Mm-hmm. Yep, this is what makes us bipolar, this pole that we have going straight through our body. It's a couple. It'll be like, there'll be probably hundreds made instantaneously in just one area, you know, or all over there's
Is doing the world correlations and connections here. This is all very interesting to people like me. Like this is all like like I've done like linguistics courses, even in university, and psycholinguistics courses, and I'm fascinated with this stuff. Like I've looked at older languages, like the linear A and B, and I've made my own interpretations. I don't believe that it's actually accurate, like what people have did with their interpretations, and so that's why like experts these days are not friggin' experts. They're actors. And even Neil Disgrace Tyson, he is if you look online, he's registered online, like he's an actor. Like that's what he is. He's an actor.
There's this idea that we live on a ball and it's spinning, traveling through space at unfathomable speeds, yet you can't measure it, you can't repeat it or observe it. At this
It's raining pretty hard right now.
point, it becomes a religion. What are you holding on to? Or do you care what other people think? Are you just worried what your friends and family are going to say? Is it your satellites? Is it your aliens? There are no satellites in the vacuum of space. The satellites are...
And I'm in the sticks.
Satelloons. You're aliens. Let's say you're an outer space alien fanatic. What if I told you you can have your aliens too? That they come from outer space, not upper space, but outer space. They are extraterrestrials. Terrestrial meaning terrain, meaning land. So what is it? What's stopping you? You've never seen curvature with your own eyes. You never felt the earth spinning. You've never been able to observe and measure these claims. So at this point, it becomes a religion. Do you want to become free? What if there's thousands upon thousands of other continents? What if there is an actual creator. This place was designed for a purpose. This isn't an accident. Would your life change? We're all supposed to live in abundance. We're all supposed to be here for a purpose and learn and love and live. Being on a ball from an accident of a Big Bang, evolved from monkeys, that's no way to live. That's no way to perceive life. You're an accident. You have no purpose. What's stopping you? Look out here. There's no curvature. 120,000 feet, 30,000 feet, it's nowhere to be seen. Where's the curve?
Where's the curve?
It's time to pay attention.
8 inches
It's
per
time to
mile
wake up.
squared.
It's time to become free.
Seven, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
On January 28, 1986, CNN watched the Challenger launch live on the air with its viewers. They and the other media outlets told
I just wanted to share this because I talked about the Challenger, and so
that the astronauts died in the explosion. But as always, there is an agenda behind every mainstream headline.
This morning, it looked as though they were not going to be able to get off.
1 minute 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
Looks like a couple of the solid rocket boosters blew away from the side of the shuttle in an explosion.
Flight controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction. We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded.
Today is a day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core with the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger. We know we share this pain with all the people of our country. This is truly a national loss.
The 7 NASA astronauts supposedly killed in the 1986 Challenger disaster did not die in the explosion and are quietly living out their lives in the US, with many of them hiding in plain sight, using their same names and working at high levels in the same fields they worked in before the disaster, according to explosive evidence uncovered by investigators.
We've located 6 out of 7 of them. In the world of deception, it's really easy to say this person is that person, and there's a lot of that going on, muddying the waters. But 6 out of 7 have identical names. They work for universities, most of them.
There were no people in the Challenger. That was a hoax. That's been proven conclusively by researchers and reporters, investigators, who have found that those supposed people that were in the Challenger are still alive today.
We remember Dick Scobie, commander who spoke the last words we heard from the Space Shuttle Challenger. We remember Michael Smith. We remember Judith Resnick. We remember Krista McAuliffe. We remember Ellison Onizuka. We remember Ronald McNair.
People still think the Challenger exploded with these astronauts. It was
I know it's probably hard to watch for a lot of people, but even with Snake Island, they try to make that into like they lied about that too with those apparent like Ukrainian soldiers that died on Snake Island by Russians and because they didn't want to surrender and stuff like that, and they were like going to be seen as heroes. Everyone was talking about this until within hours I was showing them alive and well and saying again, this is another friggin' lie, just like everything else I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So like this, for example. So and they would have kept it up for how long if people like me didn't actively come out and push this information out and get back on when we were getting deleted and censored and character assassinated and threatened and all this stuff, and then still go out and get this information out there, like finding other ways.
horrible thing. Never happened.
You need this information.
Yes, the rocket exploded. There was no one on board.
So imagine you're at the launch of the Challenger. This is a historic moment, and it blows up in midair. Whether you are personally related to somebody on there or don't know anybody, you're going to be a mess. This is an emotional, incredible scene. And CNN was reporting, and they told the cameraman, let's get a live shot of Krista's parents. And when they zoomed in on them, they were giggling. They were laughing. They were smiling. I don't know how you can put a smile on someone's face, even if you told them the funniest joke in the world at that very moment. Just look at their face. Is that the face of somebody whose daughter just blew up in the most horrific, violent accident ever? Or is that somebody playing a role, not knowing that they're on camera and thinking about the money that they may have gotten? You can hide somebody that's allegedly dead right in plain sight. All you have to do is move them a little farther away, give them a different job, claim that they're somebody else. You don't even need to change their name.
So statistically speaking, the odds that almost everyone on the Challenger have exact lookalikes with exact names still existing is kind of laughable, honestly. Exact doppelgangers existing in the world.
They tried to claim that they were twins, and since then they've like hired more twins. They were literally trying to make that a thing until people were saying, well, let's look at birth records. There's no accounts in any of the hospitals about dual births or twins in any of these cases. And then even talking to people from their schools, no, none of the kids were calling there ever being twins in their schools. So and why I also think that Ashley, like Mary Kate and Ashley Oslin were pushed during Full House and stuff like that. Anyway,
with the same names, and when confronted, they get very nervous, and their stories begin to conflict, and they have the same mannerisms. You know, it doesn't take a lot to put it together, honestly.
Let's start with former NASA astronaut Michael J. Smith, with the same name as this retired professor from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Are you Michael Smith? Professor at university? Retired. Yeah. Yeah, I just stopped by because there's a room. Are you aware of that? There's a rumor on the internet
It's not me.
that people are saying.
Yeah, it's not me, obviously. I mean, anybody that looks at my background looks where I was born.
It's not me.
It is you.
It's interesting that the Michael J. Smith, that was the astronaut, looks something like me when we were younger, but really
See how innocent he sounds, and so like oh my god.
not. If you really look at facial recognition,
You never been a pilot, never been in the
nothing,
military?
nothing like that.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
And
I
I
just,
don't.
And I could tell, like, there's cues, like people, like I have advanced interview interrogation courses and training and stuff like that under my belt. And then with trauma, there's also ways that you can like assess social cues, which is why the masks also I'm against, because children, as they're developing, they need to be able to see like visual microaggressions in order to assess threats, non-threats. And they're not getting that. But this guy is like has deceit written all over him. Deceit written all over him. Oh, like, why do you go? Like, I don't understand. Like, why you're not like married with a husband and stuff like that. Like, and I like, I like a nice, smart, guy, but like a scientist or a doctor. They all lie too. Look at this guy. Like, look at his career and stuff like that. And he's trash. Don't matter the career, how much money these people make, what they're wearing, the background and stuff like that. Bad people are bad people. Liars are liars.
And I don't respond to the emails I get. I get probably an email, maybe 2 a month.
Really?
Yeah. And I got one guy that's been really hounding me, and I turned it over to the FBI.
Yeah, trying to scare people.
Yeah, you sure look a lot. Is the same
I
thing.
know the facial thing, but that's what we look like. What?
Scars?
40 years
really?
ago?
Teeth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And you can change teeth.
Michael J. Smith, identical looks, dimples the same, teeth the same. There's really no denying it. And before he could finish the question, Michael denied it. Oh, that's not me. That's not me. And laughed it off. What's he gonna say? Oh, you got me? Not gonna happen.
The driveway footage of Michael J. Smith, that's real. I mean, that can't be a deep fake, So at some point, you got to stop trusting liars.
We don't hide our space program. We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up front and in public.
Next is former NASA astronaut Judith Resnick with an exact doppelganger working at Yale University.
Working at
37 years
Yale
have passed, and
University.
she hasn't even changed her name. Side by side, there's no denying it.
So like, a professional, academic, like innocent, like looks conservative, traditional in values, all this stuff, and a lying weasel snake, Karen.
She's approached. She has a very odd way of not responding.
Hey, Judy. How you doing? I'm from the press. I just had a quick question, if you don't mind.
What press?
I'm from a radio station in San Bernardino. I know there's a conspiracy about the space shuttle. I want to be polite.
Awful human being.
Look
at this, Karen.
Friendly. Just a question.
Jail.
So there's a lot of rumors about you being on that space shuttle. Obviously, if you want to comment, we would really appreciate it.
That's treason.
Kind of odd that Judith is in full panic mode when realizing the press is in her presence. She's no stranger to being in the spotlight. She even made her way into Hollywood for a quick cameo.
If the choice is to allow Americans to be taken as hostages or to be executed, I'll bring my own rope.
Disgusting human being.
Saddam backed down, and Ambassador Wilson helped thousands get safely home. When he himself came home to the United States, he was warmly greeted by our president, who took him to the Oval Office and introduced him to the War Cabinet as an American hero.
Commander Dick Scobie had a company called Cows and Trees, and when you went to his website, there was an animation of a cow taking off like a rocket with a smoke stream coming out of its backside, doing a twisty curl in the air that looked remarkably just like what we saw with the Challenger. And after we started making videos on that and it started going viral, that website disappeared, never to be seen.
And that's the Fibonacci spiral, the golden ratio,
Seen again.
And nobody could have predicted back in 1986 that in 30 some odd years from then, that there would be something called the internet that would bring all this information to the tip of your fingers, and you'd be able to search through pictures, Facebooks, websites, profiles. Now these people are scared. They're hiding their profiles. They're deleting their websites. They're making their Facebooks private.
Anazuka and McNair.
Oh, and get this, and even now, like I shared this as well on my social media, but like now, like mainstream media, like they're complaining, like their journalists are getting harassed or bullied online. No, ladies and gentlemen, people are holding them accountable. So what people are doing now is they're tagging and sharing ridiculous articles that are divisive and absolutely just lying and deceitful, and we're just calling it and we're just tagging these people in what they are creating that's causing this division, and again, like, this is funded by us, right? And so we're calling people out. So this has nothing to do with anything other than peaceful ways of stopping these morons from continuing to create fear and division and stuff like that. That's ultimately harming us, in so many different ways. And then anyway,
Are always together. They're hanging out at NASA and always talking about themselves.
Ellison Onizuka, if you look at clips of him back in 1986 when this happened, he actually spoke every other word was
Let me say that it's really a pleasure to be back.
If you look at clips of his brother Claude now speaking, it's the same exact thing. Every other word is
But Ellison's dream is continued to be carried on. I think we got some. We're very fortunate that I think we're ready to go fly. Thanks for being out here today.
His brother just so happens to be the spokesperson for the Challenger tragedy. Why aren't there any pictures of his brother back when this happened? Why didn't his brother speak at the funeral? Use your head.
Former Governor Ariyoshi, who has a story about a picture that survived the Challenger disaster.
Ellison only came to see me one day, and he wanted the family photo, and he wanted to take it up on a Challenger, and he's going to bring it back, inscribe it, and autograph it. But that Challenger accident happened, and I felt very sorry to lose Elson. But I didn't even think about the photo. I thought everything else must have been destroyed completely. About 2 months later, Law and Order called me and told me that they found in the water, NASA found the personal preference kit of Elton Ondizuka. And she said, there are 2 things in there. One was a monk's prayer, and the other was his family portrait.
Where's his brother?
So I told her, oh, then it must be in terrible condition because the astronauts, the big bang up and the ocean in the water for 2 months. She told me, no, it's in perfect condition. And she said, I'm going to bring the picture over to you and present it to you. And then in the meantime, NASA got the picture and they put this together for us.
Ronald McNair conveniently has a twin brother named Carl McNair who looks exactly like him and is at a lot of the events now, but was nowhere to be found when the explosion happened.
Krista McAuliffe was a fairly new teacher, just 3 years at that school. To get her,
Oh yeah, so they couldn't pin it on like twins and stuff like that. So like then they were claiming like siblings arrived out of nowhere again without any pictures or anything like that prior to the explosion.
Story planted. All of these people, the parents,
You can
the
edit
astronauts,
things now
everyone involved that you saw.
and add in people in print.
Jesse was at the tape in the stands to see Tuesday's launch, a sight that she says still haunts her.
Why didn't I leave too? But I thought, no, I want to stay and see it.
And as she read Mike's invitation for the launch, Ms. Hesse said that she doesn't know if she'll be emotionally ready for a service like that in his hometown.
Since I won't be able to see you all in person, let me say thanks for coming and have a great time. And I hope you see a good show.
George Bush Sr. hand-selected the teacher, Krista McAuliffe. What are the odds that 30 years later, there is a professor at Syracuse University with the name Sharon McAuliffe?
I still can't believe that I'm going to actually be going into that shuttle. It just really doesn't seem possible.
Krista McAuliffe was asked if she had any fears about her space shuttle flight.
People really feel that space travel.
They've gone like through how many decades of living a life of like just like entitlement and prestige and wealth, all of this stuff and importance. How like they should be in jail. Serve out the rest of their lives in jail.
We're safe now. It's not that earlier feeling that, oh, it's going to blow up or something's going to happen. Right at this point, I feel that I'll be okay if I go up.
Well, where's Jarvis? How come you haven't located him? And the answer is, he could have died of natural causes, a heart attack, a car accident, 3, 4, 5 years later, and it would never be reported.
The reason they did it was a psychological operation to justify not doing manned space flights anymore and to pull on your heartstrings with an emotional cover. So if you dare question it, then you're immoral. And then when you look into it, you find out, of course, that you have all these people still existing in the world. So basically a government version of witness protection for NASA.
Our nation held a vigil by our television sets. In one cruel moment, our exhilaration turned to horror. We waited and watched.
They were waiting and watching.
When they saw the explosion, there was confusion. Was something wrong? The principal and teachers weren't certain either. Then it got very quiet as the horror of it began to register.
Besides the trauma-based mind control and putting children through that trauma, it reinforces their model. It reinforces their religion. Look, this terrible thing happened. We're trying to go to space. We're trying to explore science. But look, all those people died.
But at 1 o'clock, school was closed. It had to close.
I felt as if my whole body blew up inside when I saw that. And I can just never be as shocked as I am now, seeing it.
So this is like the messed up thing. Like there's so many there's so many steps and levels to this stuff, right? So like even with the Challenger, right? Like people didn't die in that, but there have been explosions and accidents where there actually have been people that have died. And then if you look at that, and then you go and how more advanced they got with 9/11, there was people that actually again died, but there was also crisis actors involved, and so many other elements to it, training exercises and things like that, all in the same area. And then the people, these elitists, actually in buildings having a view of this happening, knowing it was going to happen, plant like part of it, and even telling us you really think it was just a coincidence that people were in plain sight of the towers going down and stuff like that, or the Challenger explosion, because they gave it in my family, people that actually watched this, and there was like such an emotional response to it. Obviously, they don't even want to see this. They don't even want to hear it. Nothing.
With my own eyes, it really just scared me. Some astronauts blow up in a rocket. What does that do subconsciously to the average person? They don't want to go up into space. They don't want to blow up.
And why am I sharing this information? It's because unless people know about this stuff, it's going to keep on getting worse, right? They think that we're idiots. They think that we're morons. They think that we're so easily duped into falling for this stuff. And they're the ones that are intentionally creating this universe 25 that's keeping us stuck. And and it's unfortunate, right? Like this is not how we're supposed to be living, ladies and gentlemen. And unless we, I guess, wake up is what people like to say. It's such a niche, whatever you want to call it, anyway, like it's again, it's going to get worse. And even with this like fake and staged planned alien invasion that they're trying to get on the go at some point in the next few years, like it could possibly be circumvented if we get this stuff about all of the other stuff that I've talked about out of the way, like January 6th, this, like.
And rocket, we'll leave that to the professionals. We'll leave that to NASA and our government.
Once they had seen the evidence on the visual screen that there would be no survivors, it suddenly became apparent to them that they were dealing with death.
The government had incentivized the different public schools to play the Challenger in their classroom. So they rolled their TV sets out. They had all the children sit down and get ready to watch it. And 20% of the American public watched the Challenger event happen live. And within 1 hour, 80% of Americans had seen the Challenger tragedy happen. So just like with 9/11, they have everyone see this traumatic event, and then we're all in unison that we're traumatized.
When it blew up, it was a form of trauma-based mind control that some people will never grow out of, and then the emotions kick in, and you're
Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy,
unable to think logically about what's going on.
Of course, this was planned. They made every school show this event live. They wanted these kids to grow up defending this tragedy.
Think about how many field trips come here, unfortunately. And they go in and watch that Heroes and Legends thing, and they come out thinking that this is the greatest possible hero that they could ever be. And that's just,
I know people that work and have worked at the Kennedy Space Center.
And we're building them up higher than your father, police, military, all these people that are actually
And they
heroes.
believe this.
These are actors working for a government agency. So,
Next.
Hello, I'm going to get one of these signed if that's all right. My name's Justin. Yes. Yes, with an IN.
Where are you from?
Orlando.
Yeah.
Not too far. No, I'm okay on picture, but thank you. I do have a question though. Sometimes when we're watching the ISS footage, you'll see the astronauts sometimes connected to like wires and harnesses. Is that to keep them like in the frame during the broadcast, or what's the reason for that?
No, I haven't actually. You mean while they're inside the shuttle?
Yeah, like when they're inside the ISS, sometimes during the feeds, the broadcast, you'll see kind of pulling on their belts or something like that.
I have not personally seen that.
Oh, really?
But I know that they try to be still when they're talking to someone, and then they usually try to release them like a flip.
Yeah, because I've seen the foot before, and it almost looked like a foot was caught like inside something, but there was nothing really there. It was really strange. I didn't know if there was something to kind of like hold them in place or something.
We never had anything like
Oh,
that,
okay.
but they may have learned over time that it was hard to stay still, and then they
Yeah.
came up with something.
Did you ever think the public would find out that all the spacewalks were filmed underwater? Did you have any comment on that?
Well, we train underwater.
Oh, okay, but only training?
Only training.
Okay.
Most of the public have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas. The space station footage that they trick us with is not traveling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. An exact ISS replica underwater. Coincidence? It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
One, two, three, bubbles in space.
The International Space Station, that's complete fraud. It's a complete hoax. I don't believe that all these astronauts are living up there and doing all this. Every single time that they do some type of live demonstration, you can see some type of faulty wiring, some type of glitch. They're literally being held up by strings.
Green screens, wires, CGI, augmented reality, all sorts of issues. Think about this. They always have the women with long flowing hair. That would never be allowed.
They literally spray hairspray in their hair to make it look like their hair is floating in zero gravity.
The International Space Station, brought to you by the same guys who faked 6 moon missions. Yeah, I believe that. I don't know exactly how they're videotaping themselves. They could be on one of those zero-G planes and, doing it all in there. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but I don't believe it at all. It looks like a bunch of green screen. I don't believe that at all.
The space station is a serious place. We're doing serious research, scientific research, and engineering research.
That was Don Pettit. He's a big friggin' liar. And then Chris Hadfield, again, like he's freaking Canadian sellout. I've tried messaging him on LinkedIn about like NASA going nowhere since like 1958 or whatever, or the 1950s. And he surprisingly has not got back to me yet.
Running around in gorilla suits, going 17,500 miles an hour. There's supposedly micrometeorites, other satellites up there. They could die at any second, but they're running around playing with water. They're always playing with water, claiming to grow lettuce.
And I love this video because it looks like animation, like something that somebody made, but it's actually real footage from the space shuttle, just sped up just a little bit.
And this is a little video. It's about 4 minutes long here. So there's the space station. I love that this is not animation. This is film taken by a shuttle of the space station. And so this is real. It's not animation.
Now, this looks like animation, and I'm very proud to know that it's actually real film. It's not a video game. People are living there.
I know this looks like animation, but it's actually really real. I love this video because it looks like animation. It doesn't look real, but it is real.
People can watch all these and trickery by NASA and all these other space agencies, and all that goes out the window because they see a little light in the sky, and it's the ISS. Oh yeah, that's the ISS. That's all the proof they need, and everything else goes out the window.
The view will still be A-OK out there, and all you need to look for is a bright light in the sky that will be moving, and that'll be the space station.
I've seen the light go from horizon to horizon. There's many problems with that light. First, it's as bright as the sun. It's really bright. How is the ISS reflecting that light as bright as the sun back to me the whole way across? Is it made of mirrors? Is that mirror following me? Right? How would somebody 10 miles away see the same reflection? Because it can't reflect in all directions. It's going 17,500 miles an hour for 12 minutes. I could see it. So what is it? I was in communication with a NASA whistleblower, and he says that they have 5 B-2 bombers that they've remodified with some parts of them are transparent material with a thin metal struts that you really can't see. The bottom was overlaid with LEDs to match the color of the sun, and they use them in their base. 2 of them are in Alaska, and I forget where the other ones are, and they take turns doing these flybys.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in York County. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage? Are they in space or are they underwater? Now, what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it? I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. It is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know what you're all thinking. NASA is part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make.
So my point to this stuff as well is anything space related, like even in Canada, we're going through these that's being funded by government, i.e. us. We're looking at cutting $1 billion for the Canadian defense budget. Ladies and gentlemen, cut it from this. Okay, this is another point to that. Why are we taking it out of the soldiers' mouths, or or taking like the equipment off their backs? Because this is where the money is going to be impacted first in training, and we need training. So much more training in all different organizations. Like it's just beyond overwhelming. Like and I'm offering my help with this stuff to do like even professional development weeks and just get information out to different organizations. Yeah, and but yeah, cut that budget.
Make a statement or hold a press conference alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless, maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about, and the revitalization of Brevard County.
Flat earthers pay attention. We're paying attention to NASA. We're paying attention to SpaceX. Most people aren't, but yet they'll defend it. They'll defend it. They have no idea the Earth's supposed radius. They have no idea how far the sun is supposed to be according to NASA. 93 million. They don't know. Like how far is the sun? Like I don't know, a couple million miles. I don't know. They have no idea, but they're defending it to the death. Once you start paying attention and have an open mind, pay attention.
Alec, they're never gonna put me on these freaking shows anyway. So like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, these people are controlled opposition and they're shills for flat earthers, right? They make fun of us. They insult, they call us like at a psyops, all this other stuff, even though we give clear proof that the globe earth is the friggin' psyops. It was even taught in Canada, even as late as the 1940s in areas, and then completely abolished out of Canadian education systems, which is a shame. We need it back. It wasn't that long ago.
worst footage ever.
But we do want to make sure that the American people understand that there's no need to panic. The president took this action, as I mentioned earlier, because the objects were indeed flying at lower elevation, and they were in civilian airspace. And we wanted to make sure that we protected that airspace. But again, we want to also make sure that the Americans are not do not panic during this time.
Wait, what? It's on a balloon? Why is there a satellite on a balloon? It's always been that way. Flat earthers have been talking about this for a long time.
One thing that isn't really discussed in the mainstream is that NASA, of course, we know spends more money on helium than anyone else in the world, and actually just upped their most recent contract to hundreds of millions of dollars for helium. And they admittedly launched balloons bigger than 1 to 2 football fields, and it's significantly more efficient for transmission of data, for weather compilation of data. They basically have a fleet of balloons above you that are facilitating majority of the information that we utilize.
So why do you think NASA is the world's largest consumer of helium? Why would they send up balloons?
The Mandarin word for penguin translates to business goose. Very interesting.
These satellites on balloons.
So I'm thinking about like correlations with that, and penguins being something that's possibly also been like animals that have been genetically altered, and there's the black and white with that, and then you've got the the pandas, which are black and white, and then I've talked about this a little bit about how like they are owned by China, like officially. Where's it? Japan. I think it's China, and then they rent them out to people. In different countries, like usually like leaders and stuff like that, people of significance, and it's like for a couple $1 million a year. I just want to make sure that it's really windy today too. Okay, so yeah, it is China. Anyway,
if they're in magical floating space, in the magical floating vacuum of space, they're showing us. They're telling you right now. They're telling us in plain sight. Hey, look, satellites are on balloons. They're not in magical space. Right here at this research center. Okay, the loud truck. Yeah. I know they're gonna make it. Okay.
This is how hard it is. Like I've been uncomfortable too, trying to like go to places, and this stuff happening. Like it, and this is not okay. Like these are not like they don't own anyway.
I was just doing some filming. Just anything we can see. We're just doing a documentary.
You work for us. And this is reasonable stuff, right? I'm not saying go like to the different Walmart super centers where there's possibly human trafficking and stuff like that going on in the back. But like get this information to like law enforcement and stuff like that so that they can like take a look at this stuff and investigate.
Well, I mean, we're a public. There's no expectation of privacy. Well, we tried to call them and said they weren't doing any tours. Yeah, they said we weren't doing any tours.
Of course, you got to do your due diligence and make sure there ain't nobody out there hot. I get it.
Like Johnson Space Center, they have all guards. Yeah, they will shoot you.
Yeah, they definitely operate.
Do not run up in the air.
Yeah, you're nice.
We're just infatuated with the satellites.
Yeah,
we didn't even know they existed. It's cool that they're all going up on balloons. We didn't even know. We were talking, they're just orbiting by themselves.
Well, they're shot up with rockets.
Yeah, they're shot up with rockets. That's all
it makes more sense on a balloon, so we're like, okay, well, this makes sense.
Unless they got some top secret stuff I don't know about.
You don't know about any of these satellites without the balloons?
The idea that you would need some type of box that free falls in orbit around a ball is really just a fiction of imagination. That we don't need that at all. We don't utilize that.
Satellites have been on balloons since the 50s, and
so there's also access to information requests going out to the Canadian Armed Forces for the satellite programs that we've been involved in, and then the supply of and like the balloons, also and the materials for balloons, and then the helium and stuff like that, to get access to that information as well to make the links, because like we should have access to this information. There's a lot of money and time and resources going into this and manpower that could be utilized in many other ways, and this is why like we need to know this information.
They've always been on balloons. They just lied about putting them in space. There's no evidence at all of satellites in space.
And they would have to get a propulsion system. Even if you believe that the Earth is a ball, you must.
I know I'm going on all these freaking tangents, but this is what I mean. For me, this has been my job, like international security stuff, like for 20 plus years of my life. And, but more people need to get involved in this stuff now, because again, Canada is like literally falling under this friggin' regime, not to sound dramatic. And we need people to just speak up in a peaceful way and speak out and do the emails, do the calls, the letters, you know what I mean, and just try to like turn around what's happening, like hold people accountable, like even in people in cabinet, right? Like for these people, like getting better people in, more informed, educated people in, immediately, right? And people that have access to the information that I'm sharing, because it's friggin' important. So important.
Also believe that satellites cannot propel themselves without a source to thrust.
Like Chrystia Freeland and these people in Wayne Air, they didn't even know like that Ukraine had Nazis in it a week ago. That should be alarming to people when we've been in friggin' war, that people like me who've been to war, not like these little pansies, you know what I mean? I've actually boots on the friggin' ground and buried people, not like these pansies in war, ramp ceremonies and stuff like that, multiple wars, not just one, right? And to have these people be so friggin' ignorant, like be the ones that are dictating like Canada's president future is just it's mind-blowing to me. Like these people need to be, if this is reasonable, they need to be fired, they need to be investigated. And then there are people like me and me that are actually willing to again to still be of service in order to try to help get us through this, and instead being seen as like villains and stuff like that. It's friggin' ridiculous. But anyway, so many tangents.
Okay? We know that they don't have engines on them. What's making them go around? They don't make sense. Then you find out NASA owns 98% of the helium. Then you find out all these satellites of trash have balloons attached to them. Then you can deduce they actually float these satellites over balloons. It's that simple. If all these satellites are moving 17,500 miles an hour, some are moving this way, some are moving that way, it's common sense. There's 50,000 of them. They're supposed to hit each other eventually, but none of them hit each other. Come on, guys, wake up. There's no satellites. There's no proof of them. The only proof we have are things floating on balloons.
Arthur C. Clarke in the 50s wrote a book theorizing about satellites falling around an Earth in an endless fall. Shortly after, we all of a sudden had satellites falling around the Earth. Now think about it. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It's orbiting in an elliptical orbit, speeding up and slowing down at 66,000 miles an hour. It's chasing the sun in another curved orbit. And we somehow have geostationary satellites. That's a satellite that stays above the same plot of land. So it's mimicking the spin. It's mimicking the orbit. It's speeding up and slowing down and staying over that same plot of land. And it's just falling in an ever-ending fall. That makes absolutely no sense.
And now it's openly accepted that they're on balloons, but they're making it seem like it's a new thing. This is the new way we're going to launch satellites is on balloons, and it's cheaper and it's just better. Like we don't need them space ones no more. People are starting to figure it out. That's why they're going back to balloons.
And majority of all the transmissions we use for our cell phones or quote unquote satellite TV are all ground towers. They all send transmissions from the ground tower to tower, admittedly at high elevations. And of course, we have underground and undersea cables that make up 99.9% of all transmission. So this just a facade in people's mind that you have little metal boxes flying around.
I've shared the proof on that as well. Like even like government websites showing that 99% of the
giving you all
the cables underwater are utilized for our connections.
All of your data. None of that is real.
Oh my God, I'm calling my brother. That is freaking beautiful. Okay, there you have it. Artemis fly. Wow, it's flying right now.
Whether it's the ISS or the rocket launch, the second someone sees it with their own eyes, they think it's real.
This is freaking amazing. Oh, there it is. What the heck happened?
They don't even know what the going on.
The reason that you can always find a video of a rocket from NASA taking off and then slowly making a U-shaped arc is not because it's going around the ball and going to the other side or going out into space. It's because shortly after these rockets that are funded by your tax dollars take off, they only have a certain amount of time before they crash back to the Earth because they run out of fuel. It's all made up. So what
they'll show you that too, because I got like, have you been on the last live feeds? You know, or any of these like freaking live feeds? Like when you're seeing it launch, like and again, I know people that have actually been at these freaking stations and actually said that they've seen the rockets go up and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, you've seen them go down and stuff like that, and they couldn't even remember like that. Like so, they possibly like just like distracted or ushered out or just like believing, like not believing their own friggin' eyes about things. But like when these rockets go up and you see it on the live screens, and I've commented and I've shared my comments on the live screens, they get deleted often, but like it goes up and then they go to CGI, they go to like videos, and this is what it looks like now. And then it's like, I don't want it, blah, 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 blah. And then it shows like it's all fake. And then they go like to like, different screens and stuff like that. And yeah, and so like they'll never show you the complete like exit out of the.
What really happens is they launch them near the ocean in Texas or in Florida. They will never launch a rocket from the middle of the country. It won't make it to the ocean. It'll crash on dry land. Okay, so NASA has to launch rockets from Texas and Florida because it's right by the water. If they wanted to launch a rocket from Little Rock, Arkansas, it wouldn't even make it to Texarkana.
So when they launch rockets in Cape Canaveral, Florida, or in Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, the problem is you can't get past the firmament.
In 1962, 7 years before they faked the moon landing, Operation Dominic began. A series of 31 missiles were shot straight up into the sky to test how high humans can actually reach. They quickly figured out not far at all.
It seems that whenever they were shooting these missiles up into the sky, they were actually interacting with different layers of this plasma field or this electromagnetic phenomena, and it seems to have fluid-like properties. As it actually hits a certain portion of this force field, if you will, it begins to disperse and seek equilibrium based on the impedance of the electromagnetic layers.
Why is it when we review this footage that these things are exploding? It looks like they're hitting a barrier.
Testing the strength of the firmament, and they weren't able to penetrate it.
What's going on there? What is this? In my opinion, I think that they were trying to find a way to possibly get out. There's a firmament above us.
So everything is as above, so below. Obviously, many people are becoming aware that there's a firmament above that many people are now starting to realize is impenetrable.
No matter what you do, you can't go straight up in the air and keep going.
An interesting rocket launch was the amateur Go Fast rocket. They gave us something that NASA and SpaceX never gives us, an uninterrupted feed from their camera. If you watch a NASA launch or a SpaceX launch, there's 4, 5, 6 cuts before it even clears the launch pad. Gave us an uninterrupted 72 miles, I think, went up, and all of a sudden it went kerplunk, it hit something.
It went up, and it appears to have hit the firmament.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
There's no place to go.
There is water surrounding us in all directions, including directly above us. We now know that there's something called superfluid that exists. You could have helium-3, and it could actually offer full electromagnetic propagation perpetually without any impedance. Based on the things that I see, such as Pro 777's lunar wave observations, I think that there is clearly a fluid-like medium above us.
The waters above in ancient astronomy, which was the same science as astrology, except one was more theological and one was more secular, they taught that this was called the crystalline sea. And in the book of Revelation, it speaks about the crystalline sea. It's the 9th heaven. The waters above, it's firm.
I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming that there is a fluid-like medium above us.
What I can tell you for sure is the water above is level, because all water finds and maintains level.
I feel that's the next wave of enlightenment, is now more and more people realizing as above, so below. And the only way we can get above or below is to go within and tune our frequency to that of which surpasses and passes through.
Who knows? Maybe there is some kind of firmament, and we're underwater. We could be underwater. Maybe there's water above the firmament and then water down here.
That could possibly be why the sky is blue, because behind it is the firmament, which holds back water.
As above, so below. God's throne does not sit on a convex, silly snow globe, okay? The firmament, the waters above, where he separated the waters below from above, they're flat and level. It's the sky plane. The sky only appears to curve, just like the ground. There is no curvature in the sky. There's no curvature on the earth.
Well, Dave, the SpaceX Falcon 9 is going to launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and it's going to launch in just about a minute, maybe a little less here, to see the trail it's leaving behind. Absolutely amazing. And to describe it to you, and you can see it, but from the ground, it almost looks as though
some of these rockets look like they're scraping across a watery firmament, kind of like a boat dragging something through the water.
You see what resembles a speedboat going through water. You'll see the rocket hit the firmament, explode like watery, and then it will skim along the surface of the firmament. Why is that? Well, because it's hydrogen. It's water.
I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're not flying into space.
It's almost like they're just throwing it in your face. Look, we're running into a solid barrier. These rockets literally look like they're bouncing off the ocean, like a boat in the ocean, creating waves. Look at it. Look at the footage. Look at that. They're putting it in our face. It's soft disclosure. They can't just come out and say there's firmaments, we're on a flat earth or whatever else. They can't just come out and say it. They have to show breadcrumbs. They got to show a trail of breadcrumbs. They have to boil the frogs slowly.
People say, well, what's under the flat earth? They're thinking of a disc floating in space. We don't know what's under the flat earth because the deepest hole is 7.8 miles. And while they were digging that hole, while they were drilling that hole, they were using ground penetrating radar to see what they're gonna hit next. And they were wrong every step of the way. No more rocks, no more water. They hit rocks, they hit water, right? They were wrong. And then they hit an impenetrable barrier. They tried for years to get through and they couldn't, and then they gave up. But then somehow we have a meme that shows us a cross section of the earth, the next 4,000 miles. They know exactly what's there. They couldn't get the first 7.8 miles right, but they know the next 4,000. And everyone's seen the meme of the earth with a molten magnetic core. Another thing that they're laughing at us because you can't have a molten magnet. Any magnet of any type, you heat it up, and before it melts, it hits the Curie point, and it loses all its magnetism.
Have y'all heard about the recent claim from the heliocentric priests? They're saying that the core has stopped spinning, and it's now spinning the opposite direction, which is going to cause all this chaos.
Well, this morning we are learning about a shift in the Earth's inner core that sounds like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. Scientists say our planet's solid core, which is actually disconnected from the rest of the Earth's layers, may actually have stopped rotating and could even reverse course. What does this mean?
Well, at first it sounds like something from a Hollywood movie.
Right.
The script is, oh my God, the core of the Earth is spinning backwards.
How do they know this? I just want to know, how do they know what the core is doing if they've only been down 8 miles? How is that possible? We've only, as humans, dug down a maximum depth of 8 miles. How do they know what's 3,000 miles down? Makes no sense.
So if you look at a magnetic field on our ferrocell, you have something called the inertial plane or the block domain wall. That would be where we reside. We live within a magnetic field. And you can only go so far down before you're actually going to have the reciprocation of that energy or that magnetic field. We know the deepest hole ever dug is around 7.8 miles, which seemingly correlates to the deepest area in the ocean.
A recent claim from the heliocentric priests, they're saying that the core has stopped spinning and it's now spinning the opposite direction, which is going to cause all this chaos.
Well, this morning we are learning about a shift in the Earth's inner core that sounds like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. Scientists say our planet's solid core, which is actually disconnected from the rest of the Earth's layers, may actually have stopped rotating.
So I just went outside to let my dogs out quickly. And there's a lot of clouds overhead. There's been a lot of rain and stuff like that right now. And I don't have allergies or anything like that. And I'm not sick, but like now my nose is getting congested and my eyes are watering. And I don't know. Just interesting.
It could even reverse course. What does this mean?
Well, at first it sounds like something from a Hollywood movie. The script is, oh my God, the core of the Earth is spinning backwards.
How do they know this? I just want to know, how do they know what the core is doing if they've only been down 8 miles? How is that possible? We've only, as humans, dug down a maximum depth of 8 miles. How do they know what's 3,000 miles down? Makes no sense.
So if you look at a magnetic field on our ferrocell, cell, you have something called the inertial plane or the block domain wall. That would be where we reside. We live within a magnetic field. And you can only go so far down before you're actually going to have the reciprocation of that energy or that magnetic field. We know the deepest hole ever dug is around 7.8 miles, which seemingly correlates to the deepest area in the ocean, of course, the Mariana Trench. So the way that I see it is you're actually living on the inertial plane within the magnetic field, which actually then begins to make all celestial phenomena fit perfect within the toroid. And of course, this entire idea that there's this magic magma core made of nickel and iron that's spinning at different speed than the Earth spins is a complete fiction made up of seismic activity and speculation. And actually, when you look further into that, they say that that causes the magnetic field with something called convection currents. You have the geomagnetic field from the geodynamo model. And actually, you would have a symmetrical magnetic field coming from the core. As it is a sphere, you would have the same magnetic field in the north and the south. But what the evidence actually shows is that it is not symmetrical at all. And in the south, the magnetic field gets up to 30% weaker. There's something called the South Atlantic anomaly, which shows that it 100% is not something.
Because it's further away from the magnetic center, like the magnetic mountain or the what are you going to call it? That's at the center of the Earth. So the further you would get away from it, the weaker the charge.
Symmetrical dynamo effect causing the magnetic field. If you actually look further into the dynamo model, there's about 50 questions that have gone unanswered. They can't even get the math to work with supercomputers. It's pure speculation that they can't get to work. And it seems that actually we are just prohibited from going too far down based on pressure mediation within a magnetic field.
There was a famous scientist that sent a submarine down and hit the bottom of the ocean and wasn't able to penetrate the bottom of the ocean, as if there was some type of water barrier firmament.
One of the strangest places on the ocean's floor was only just discovered in the 1990s. I might agree it's one of a handful of people to ever see it in person. I found out one of the most amazing things that I have ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. And it was while filming the Blue Flags in the Gulf of Mexico. And I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of steam over it. And then I looked, and there was water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. We went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down it. We literally bounced off. And as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline.
It's because of the firmament. It's firm.
What I believe is that this is a plane and everything vibrates. And ultimately, we have to become masters of vibration to work through the dimensions of this plane. This is the third dimensional plane. So this physical. This is the physical plane. Now, if we close our eyes and we envision something, our brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and actual reality.
So they teach us about gravity when we're young kids, because when you're a young kid, you kind of believe everything that you hear. They tell us that gravity was discovered by a guy named Isaac Newton. And by the time he was 23, he had discovered gravity, invented calculus, and trigonometry. Well, I'm telling you right now, none of that happened.
Gravity's just a theory and an excuse, really. It's real simple. If there's a force strong enough to hold oceans to the planet, there's a force. We should all be stuck to the ground. You know, the force can hold buildings, skyscrapers, tanks, ships to it, but it can't hold a helium balloon. Helium balloon just flies away. Smoke just flies away. Everything should be stuck to the ground like a magnet. If there's a
So yeah, people are trying to debate me on social media. They're not even reading what I'm actually sharing or looking at the information I'm friggin' sharing. They're just like completely blocking it out and just responding and just spewing nonsensical information. And then going off of friggin' Wikipedia like as a reference, and I just can't anymore with this stuff. And so like people were talking about like Titan the moons and planets and like all this like stuff like these possible like oceans and whatever else and craters like on these on what I believe to be luminaries. And because it's a contained environment and these are within the firmament, even like I've even given like the biblical references like for multiple different religions and occult teachings and stuff like that as well. But things that rise, right? It's these things are less dense than the space or the environment that it's occupying. So then it's raising or it's buoyant, like it's moving to an area where it meets its like its state where it stays like in position, or it'll just keep on going until again it gets until it gets to a state where like the space above it is less dense than it, if that makes any sense, right? And gases rise and stuff like that. The lighter the gas, like these rise, and the heavier gases like go like are lower in the atmosphere and the environments. And then when we try to do like different like examples of different densities or whatever you want to call it within different spaces, we like even like putting in like oil and water and then different like other liquid substances of like in these glasses, and then you can see like the different layered effects that happen like based on like the density or whatever you want to call it of the fluid that's being that's filling the glass anyway. And so like whatever these luminaries are above us, like these stars and these luminaries, whatever you want to call it, they are like whatever that they're made up of, it's lighter than the atmosphere that's below it, if that makes any sense, right? And so it can't be water based and or even carbon based, or like for example like with the mountains and stuff like that. Obviously mountains are made up of more than that, but I'm just saying like it's impossible for these to be like above us in the atmosphere because these are things that are more dense and these things would be lower like to the ground and or on the ground. And if that makes any sense. And so that's my take on all that stuff. And then people are also talking about like, oh, like we see the like the spheres and like the rings and stuff like that, like with these high zoom like observation, whatever you want to call it, telescopes and stuff like that, that people are getting online. You're buying these from people that are selling you lenses that are curved, you know, like a concave fisheye lens that are giving you like that angle or that slope with the magnification, and you're still not getting the like the accurate like it's misleading, right? Like and then even like anyway, I'll just keep this going.
Force holding oceans to it. It doesn't make any sense.
Once you look at gravity and you try to prove that it's real, you'll discover there's no proof of it, and that there is only proof of density, buoyancy, and electrostatics.
Electrostatics is a proven thing. We all know that a positive and a negative will attract towards each other. So the Earth has a neutral or negative charge. Everything above it has a positive charge, and it is attracted to it.
Everything that exists is electric. There's not one thing that exists in the entire world that is not electric. It's actually the unifying force that keeps everything here, holds everything together, and everything seeks equilibrium based on that. So everything's trying to find a state of rest based on its electric phenomena or its electric nature within the environment that we exist within. And then when you start to look further into it, you find out that on the smallest scale, electrostatics is significantly stronger than gravity is even claimed to be. Magnitudes greater, 10 to the 36 power to be specific. So everything, simply put, everything that exists is electric. Everything that is falling to the ground or not falling to the ground is seeking equilibrium based on electrostatics. We can actually test this. We can use something called a corona motor. And whenever we manipulate electrostatics, we can make things levitate. We can make things go up or down, and we can actually change how fast they go down. We can also manipulate the weight of an object simply by manipulating electrostatics. And of course, that's how science actually works, is you do an experiment that shows you what the cause of the effect is, and you can manipulate electrostatics and cause the effect of downward acceleration, commonly referred to as gravity. Of course, I've never seen a test that manipulates space-time, and you will never see that. It doesn't exist. Everyone thinks that the reason things fall is because of gravity, but actually everything that exists is electrostatic.
So whenever things go to the ground, they're seeking equilibrium. So they go find their balance on the ground where their charge disperses or spreads out in through the ground. So we have positive charge in the air, we have negative charge on the surface of the earth or on the ground, which is why it's called grounding. And then we introduced positive charge, and then it went back down to the ground to seek equilibrium. This shows that that's actually what objects do
And then
when
look
they
at the
fall to the
fields,
ground. They go to the
fertile
ground
fields.
because of the electric forces, and they seek equilibrium on the earth.
We knew about it as in the 1950s, even earlier, and it's all been hidden because if humans were allowed free energy, free movement, and able to explore, we would find out what this place is. We'd find out our position in this world. And that's the number one thing. Why are they hiding flat Earth? Why? What's the motive? And the motive is to keep us dumbed down, not knowing who we are, not knowing where we are, not knowing the true power that we have, and not having true freedom.
So ultimately, the master plan in all of this is to fake an alien invasion.
I think one of the biggest upsets with globe believers when they hear flat Earth is we're taking away their Star Wars. We're taking away their aliens. We know that aliens, extraterrestrials, have been documented since all recorded history.
I've actually personally seen UFOs multiple times from like the age 18 up, probably 7 different times I've seen UFOs. I know it's a very real phenomenon.
What about the secret space program? I call it the secret propulsion program. They're using electrostatics and other technology to maneuver around. Maybe they're even just pulling energy out of the air.
We can go back to, I think it was Reagan in his famous United Nations speech, talking about the world coming together, facing a universal threat.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound.
No, we don't.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
They knew back then that that's the best way, the most powerful way to get everyone to unite into a one world government.
If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe, we'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together.
To usher in,
I don't suppose
I think it's like the final stage to usher in like a one world government, right? Because like what more do you need if you're going to be going against something that's outside of this world, right? Than to unite. Like this guy's even bringing.
We'd wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization.
We did secure some footage of the flying disc in the hangar. The code name for the project is Equipe, and it has been designed for humans to fly. We asked the scientist in charge of the project what propulsion system the craft uses, but he would not divulge what he called classified information.
As to how much of it is man-made or something that maybe you wouldn't understand, that's a great question, who knows? But I think that they've simply reverse engineered ancient technology and then hid it from the masses so that we don't know what it is. You can look back at the Germans and they explain that we're using electrogravitic propulsion. And so with electrogravitic propulsion, you could attain perpetual flight, you could defy, quote unquote, defy physics, you could attain all kinds of changes in angular momentum on a dime.
Man-made technology that we don't understand yet. I don't know, maybe there's other.
They're not showing like so these advanced aircrafts, sea crafts, land crafts that we're seeing, people are seeing, these are from this earth plane. They're advanced capabilities, technologies that are being hidden from us, and were intentionally like shown during certain periods, just just slowly introducing, just not even showing us all their cards, right? But like showing us a bit of what advanced technologies that they have access to. And I do believe that there's been advanced civilizations before. If you just take a look at the ancient infrastructure that, like all over the world, like I've seen, like this is like clear to me that these were more advanced civilizations and societies. And then you look at different runites and like skeletons that are actually not fake. You'll see that there were times too when people were larger and healthier and clearly had they were more developed and muscular and smarter and yeah. And so we're in a period right now of de-evolution.
Humanoids or aliens, whatever you want to call it.
Unless we change this current trajectory that we're going on.
Going like that way and that way, but up there, I don't believe it.
UFOs are real. You guys are just confused where they come from. They don't come from some far off planet trillions of light years away. They come from the outer lands and possibly under the ocean.
I personally believe that the government is so evil that they're devising any type of plan that they can to manipulate people into.
And I'll reiterate, it's not the government, okay? Because like I consider myself government. It's people. It's weak people within that are easily duped and or people that are playing government that are not government, not qualified, never have been, never will be, and just faking uniforms and stuff like that, which is unfortunate too.
One world government. They call it the New World Order.
And illegal.
One way that they can manipulate people is by destroying cities with missiles and lasers and all sorts of destructive bombs, and then they can blame it on aliens.
Yeah.
They can say that aliens are coming when really it's our own government.
Now, man has reverse engineered that. So we do have them here now. We know our government has this technology.
If they fake an alien invasion, they get the New World Order, which they want. They thought COVID lockdowns were bad. We found out that they pretty much lied to us about everything to push an agenda of more total control. We're closer than we've ever been to World War III, all of this other stuff. And now the only way for them to truly, in my mind, get what they want or supersede the timeline, speed up the timeline, is to fake an alien invasion. The moment they do that, everybody panics. The government has to step in as a one world government. All governments come together to fight an outer worldly threat. And then we're all in lockdown like you wouldn't believe, because we got to be aware of the alien viruses. I mean, we're already scared of the human viruses. Now we got to be scared of the alien viruses, and we're so that's, I think, the end game. And it's pretty easy to see that that's what they're gearing up for. That's why they're telling us there's a mothership in our, no, shut the like, we've had this technology for years.
They've taken our focus and put it up there and not to the outer
Wait,
lands or the
thousands of years.
extraterrestrial areas.
When someone says extraterrestrial, what does that mean? It means extra terrain. So it's a lot more prevalent that the world is bigger than we know, in my opinion, than these beings are traveling millions of miles or light years away to come here. I believe they won't let us go past Antarctica. So if they won't let us go past Antarctica, my favorite show in the world is Attack on Titan. I believe they're telling us things through shows, that being one of them, that there is potential for other land outside of what we know. If there's more land out there, then why are we paying $1,500 a month to live? Or California, people are paying $3,000 to $4,000 a month in rent to live. Why would we have to do that if all of our world could fit into Texas and then there was more land,
right,
other places? Like, obviously it makes more sense.
You can still have that concept, that idea, that belief, whatever you want to call it. You can still have that on flat Earth. You're not trapped in a snow globe.
I honestly do believe that the government is hiding more land.
There could be thousands.
And again, it's not
There's definitely more than
necessarily
7. I'll bet.
government, right? There's corporations that work with government. There's corporatists that are currentists, that are evil people, that are not good people. They're criminals that are inside these organizations, because this is where they can impact. Like, this is where you influence this stuff, right? And dictate this stuff and deceive the masses is through these organizations, right? And so that there's people that are embedded in, even people from other countries that are literally spies and embed themselves within our government and stuff like that. So it's not our friggin' government, right? It's like there's people that are trying to sabotage people from within, and this has been throughout history. This is not anything friggin' new. There's nothing new under the sun, literally, for this earth plane. And the psyops, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, like the people that you see on mainstream media, you're like, oh, the only reason why they're mainstream is because like they're speaking out against the man. They are the man. They are the man. They say it all the friggin' time, like with Fox News and CNN. Like these are all like legacy media that like it's misinformation. But Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and like and Russell Brand and these the multi-million views. Multi-million views, like they blow them out of the water when it comes to ratings and stuff like that, and they have for many years, and so they're still pushing agendas, right? So like even with Trump, and there's so much more, like and with Alex Jones and stuff like that, and yeah, and they're never gonna put people like me on their friggin' shows because I talk about it and I call it out, right? They'll get other Canadians, they'll get other people in, and other Canadian podcasters and stuff like that. Like they think they're friggin' woke. They're so friggin' woke, but they're not. Get me on your friggin' show so we can talk about this stuff.
My life on it.
The real stuff. We need to talk about the real stuff in Canada, because like if we don't start talking about this stuff, right? Like we don't need the friggin' like bodybuilder podcasts, like anymore. Like we already have a lot of content, but there's great bodybuilders that are great people. They keep avoiding the big topics, and you're the people that should be not running away from these friggin' topics, right? Because again, weak men create weak society. So if you're not even willing to like actually use your platform for good on behalf of Canada, then like now, like I'm talking about now, we're in a bit of a crisis, and then once this is all over, then like go back to like your good content. But like right now, you should probably be speaking about a lot of the friggin' stuff that's been going on in the last couple of years, and just like your thoughts on it, and peacefully use your platform again, just to get that messaging out, right? Please. That's literally all I'm asking, is to just use your platform to actually be good, right? And actually share information like I'm doing, because like we need more people doing it, right? It's for our own good.
Relax. This is only a visual concept. Although,
and this is not, I don't know about this, right? Obviously,
They have advanced aircraft that can do incredible things and move incredible speeds, but it's for here. It's for exploring this world, not scientifically impossible outer space.
Little green men running around abducting people. That's the Hollywood mainstream narrative. There are underground caverns. There are underground cities, deep underground military bases, DUMBs. There's all kinds of networks under the ground.
Think about all the underground bases. Think about the millions and millions and billions of dollars that go into black budget projects and black. I mean, that is a whole nother industry. NASA, nobody knows what NASA does.
Regardless if it's a government hoax to instill fear and control and take away our rights, if it's Project Bluebeam, just know that these crafts are not coming from outer space in the magical vacuum of floating balls. They're coming from outer space, not upper space. They're coming from outer space. The extraterrestrials are coming from outer space. So just know they're not coming from up there. There's a firmament. They're showing you on the daily, rockets bouncing off of it like water. They're showing you on the daily. They're not coming from up there. They're coming from out there.
So I've recently come across information from someone inside the military that as early as 1992, they were able to attain the ability to do holography or holograms with acoustic holograms, electromagnetic manipulation, just utilizing light, as you know, for very realistic holograms in any size or proportion that you can imagine with an entire spectrum of dimensions. So I would just encourage anyone that does begin to see this activity in the sky to always keep in mind that it could be simple hologram technology used to manipulate you emotionally to get you to be in a state of fear. Of course, we've been warning people about that for over 7-8 years, that Blue Beam was given to us as a warning via the Secretary of Von Braun, that will be their last
He
card.
would repeat to me over and over, and the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject. And now we hear on the news just today, this week, that they've slid in another enemy. Only this time we're going to protect our satellites. In other words, we have to have some reason to spend these trillions, to waste these dollars on a space-based weapon system, and they're all lies. A lie, a spin. And Werner von Braun was trying to hint that to me back in the early 70s, and right up until the moment when he died in 1977. What he told me is that there's an accelerated effort in place. He didn't mention a timeline, but he said that it was going to be speeding up faster than anybody could possibly imagine, and that the last card that was being held was the extraterrestrial enemy card. The intensity with which he said that made me realize that he knew something that he was too afraid to mention. He was too afraid to talk about it. He would not tell me the details. I'm not sure that I would have absorbed them if he had told me the details or even believed him in 1974. But there was no question that that man knew and had a need to know. I found out the look in his eyes.
So you saw that Werner von Braun's tombstone, gravestone, whatever you want to call it, had Psalms 19:1 on it. And so I'm just going to stop it here for now. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go back on my Gematria Bible search stuff. Oh my God, my hair's a mess. It's just driving crazy. Well, anyway, so I'll just get into, I highly recommend taking a look at your Bible online or your physical one, and check it out. Can you see this? Yeah, okay. So I just went in to my Bible search into my Gematrinator, and I just searched in Psalms 19:1 into the search, and it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Right? So this is your NASA guy, your Nazi propagandist as well, who's committed crimes against humanity, and somehow people just keep, I don't know, they don't seem to care, which blows my mind. Oh, I'm at screen sharing was canceled. Okay, so I'm at over 2 hours, so I actually don't even know if this is even going to be seen, and so I'm actually going to stop it here for now. And wow, time really did fly. Holy. Anyway, so on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.